Manchester United man faces the sack if Qatari investors buy the club with replacements already lined up. Manchester United CEO Richard Arnold faces the sack if Qatari investors buy the club. Manchester United fans have been calling for the Glazers to sell the club for some time now, and it looks like they could finally get their wish. A report from Bloomberg recently reported that Qatari investors were preparing to make a £5 billion bid for Manchester United this week. Whenever a club gets new owners, it's always an uncertain time for many people at the club, and a key man at Manchester United's job could be under threat. According to The Express, Manchester United CEO Arnold faces the sack if Qatari investors take over the club. Arnold only replaced Ed Woodward as chief executive last year, but according to El Equipe, Hassan Al-Thawadi and Nasser Al-Khater are already being lined up as replacements. It will be interesting to see if the potential new owners propose any more major changes if they finalize the purchase of Manchester United. The Glazers could decide to extend their deadline for bids from interested parties if a Qatari offer is not submitted before the close of play on Friday. According to reports, the Red Devils were put up for sale by their current owners towards the end of last year, and several parties have since been credited with a desire to buy the club at some point over the next few months. The Glazers initially decided to set a deadline for initial bids for the end of Friday, although they could simply choose to push it back by another 2 weeks if they are not satisfied with any proposals on the table, according to The Independent. It is claimed that this is likely to happen unless a Qatari bid is tabled before this weekend, with those in power at Old Trafford still believed to be waiting to see what happens. Any opening offers are reportedly unlikely to match the Glazers' valuation of around £5 billion, which has led many prospective bidders to believe that they might simply go back on their word and ultimately decide to keep the club for the foreseeable future. It remains to be seen how the situation will play out over the coming days, though, with it likely to depend on whether or not any bids are tabled before the end of this week. Man United expected to extend takeover deadline unless Qataris launch bid. In other news, Frankie de Jong reveals conversation with Wout Weghorst after man-marking job. Frankie de Jong has praised Wout Weghorst's performance in an unfamiliar number 10 role, with the Manchester United striker tasked with annoying Barcelona's midfielders. The two teams played out a thoroughly entertaining match at the Camp Nou in Thursday night's Europa League knockout round playoff first leg, with the spoils shared in a 2-2 draw. Barca took the lead from a corner, but United hit back instantly through Marcus Rashford before a Jules Kounde own goal gave them the lead. Though Rafinha's late cross-come shot ensured the tie was finally poised ahead of next week's second leg at Old Trafford. Weghorst lined up in a rather unusual, more withdrawn role, playing as a number 10 with Rashford ahead of him, and he has now revealed that manager Erik ten Hag wanted him to unsettle Barca's midfielders. Their midfielders are very important for them to shift the game, Weghorst told ESPN afterwards. My job was to constantly get in their way and be annoying there so that they don't get into their game and can't play the way they like to do, and to be able to make my depth actions offensively from the second line, because they are vulnerable in that. You saw that in the first half. The tactic worked well, and de Jong, who United tried to sign last summer, had a very difficult night, though he could laugh about it afterwards. Asked about the man-marking job Weghorst did on him, de Jong told ESPN, "He already said it in the tunnel before the game, I'm going to get in your way, and he did a good job." Asked about his decision to play Weghorst as a number 10 and whether his plan worked, Ten Hag himself told BT Sport, "I think so, but it's not only about Wout, although he did well in that position and I know he can be, but it gives us a lot of variation, but also I want to bring Jadon and Bruno coming into half spaces, getting them on the ball and make runs from deep. With the fullbacks joining in, I think we had a lot of variation and we had a lot of opportunities and we should have won this game." If you enjoyed the video, make sure to smash the like button and make sure to subscribe to Man United Hub to get all the latest updates.